What's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail. Sometimes change hurts, man. Um, Inspired by a conversation I had with a cool person today, really dope person, and this has happened for weeks and weeks with people in general. So decided to make a video about it. Sometimes in life, you might want to change. You might actually be working on changing. You might actually be changing. And it's frustrating because who you were in the past is still harming who you have become or are becoming in the present. So, though you're like, I'm doing the right thing, why am I getting the wrong response? Well, change hurts. The interesting thing about change is when you change and become a better person or a different person, and this could work in a positive or a negative way. You will basically have to deal with the person you were and the ramifications of the reputation of the person you were when you're becoming the person that you will be or the person that you are. And that's going to hurt. In a positive way, the positive could hurt you because what if people know you as this high standard and now you don't live up to that standard anymore? So now you change and you're something like, I'm not that anymore, But but now you went from being a winner in people's eyes to a loser because their standard of you is top notch, and you might be just as great of a person, but you're just doing things a little differently because that doesn't resonate with that style doesn't resonate with you as much, but it was effective. So now people view you as ineffective, and you got to deal with that. And what if you were a person who made a lot of mistakes and now you're a person you're a person who was irresponsible and now you become responsible. Now you have to deal with all the ramifications of being irresponsible because of your irresponsible past. And though you're like, look, I'm different, man. That's I get it. That was then, this is now, but that was then is showing up far too often now, which is a problem. So you got to ask that question. Is it worth it? Is this change worth it? Because this change is hurting me. And it's hurting me in ways that I thought it wouldn't. I thought this would end well. I thought this would have a happy ending, which, by the way, it does. I had this conversation twice in the last few weeks. Changing, growing, evolving is kind of like being a kid in school. And you're very excited in the beginning. But when the change is coming, when you're about to get your breakthrough, it's like the end of school. When you were at the end of school, the teachers were a little antsy and upset. The students were a little antsy and upset because everybody knew the end date. Everybody know, hey, man, this is about to be over, man. I want to go home. I don't want to be here. We got 10 more days, man. Hurry up. Get out my face. That's the interesting thing about change. Because you can feel the frustration building and building and building inside of you when you're not reaping the rewards of your change. But the more frustrated you are, the closer you are to graduating to the next phase. So you got to learn how to hold it together and don't blow it up because you might wind up failing and starting that year over. Okay? So when people think, I'm changing, like I'm working on me, a lot of times people quit working on them and working on and becoming the best version of themselves because the process hurts so much that they revert back to what's comfortable for them, and that was what they were changing from. So they wanted to become, re-becoming what they were trying to change from being. And then you got this constant cycle of now you got to start over and start over and start over, and you get people, you're stuck on rewind and play with this. For some people, for an exorbitant amount of time. So if you are really truly changing or a changed person, understand that change hurts. Sometimes it hurts. And it's sometimes you can change this and you can change this. Your mind, your heart. You can change your spirit. But your nature, though, you might not be able to change your nature. So that part of you that that you've, molded and worked on, it's still there. It's just not necessarily dormant, but you got to keep it under control. Because your nature is kind of like those Dracula movies, those vampire movies. When they tell, like Blade, when they tell Blade, like, look, you're a vampire, you're going to thirst. Your nature thirsts to be out. And sometimes, it blows up. But understand the process of change even in that. Because it's not going to be an easy transition to change. It's a trial by fire, and fire burns, and that hurts. And the healing process hurts just as much, as the burning. So remember that. Like, share, subscribe, or die. Try and catch y'all on the next one. Peace.